Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we apologize with technical issues. We were not able to go live until now. But we are going to be giving you the coverage of the Challenger Racing League tonight. It's the last race of the regular season to figure out the 12 drivers that will race for a championship. We're about halfway through this stage. Stage break will be at the end of lap 70, and your front runners originally was Kevin Zabladil as well as Matt Hayden, but now mixtures is seeing the tire wear showing out 35 laps into this race, and you're now seeing Christian Stratter as well as Andrew Little and Justin Malarkey and Rusty Modesty all starting to show signs that they will be moving forward. As at this current moment, it's been a clean race. One driver had a spill early on. That was Brandon Bouchamp, one of the drivers that has a very slim chance of making it to the playoffs. But this field starting to close in, getting some quick action on top of one another, and it's Kevin Zabladil back to the point. But Matt Hayden wants that position for himself as well. As again, welcome here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Trevor Earhart. And Trevor, this field, they're starting to close in for some. Others are starting to back off. Tire wear, a huge factor as we close into lap 40.
Yeah, tire wear starting to kick in for these drivers. You see the high line working, the bottom line working for some drivers, and Kevin using that bottom line gets back to the lead after Matt Hayden took it from him a couple of laps before that. And now Kevin's starting to fall back into the clutches there of Christian Stratter, and behind them it was a little bit of contact right as we went live there between Andrew Little and James Catrone. That saw Catrone get by the 68 machine, and those two now battling again side by side for 4th and 5th.
Battling for that 4th and 5th position, and entering tonight, points battles to watch out for. Steve Potter, Jesse Nallen, and Gregory Barbier. That's 11th, 12th, and 13th in points for Gregory Barbier. He's 7 points off of Jesse Nallen and 9 points off of Steve Potter to try to sneak his way into the playoffs. With the 40 machine, needs a lot of work, but currently in 11th position, but 6 seconds back from 10th place to get stage bonus points. If anything, might need some of these drivers to get caught up in a wreck and maybe steal a position here or there to have enough points to try to challenge Jesse Nowland and Steve Potter. But this grouping, once again, squeezing. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on screen, and behind them, also battling for 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's just a pack of 3, and they're using the wall up completely. And, you know, it's fair game, but it certainly is a tactic that's not praised to utilize, brushing that center in the apex of this wall.
Kind of the speed boost, as some people would call it, bouncing off the wall, getting a better run off through the center of the corner. And I don't think it's intentional there, Sam. Just Bristol, one of those racetracks where you can run the outside line, run the bottom, and when you're running that outside line, you want to be as close to that wall as possible. So drivers really just testing the limits here early on in this race.
They certainly are, and being side by side, it's going to be tough work. As we see on screen, it's going to be seeing the 10 of Roland Collette, Hunter Carlson, and then last week's winner from Watkins Glen, John Velocity, going to be caught up in this racing action between each other. And these drivers all know it is just survival mode early on. We have our stage break at the end of lap 70, but tonight's race in total 200 laps. That stage break on lap 70 is going to be critical to see who's officially going to be locked into the playoffs or not. And then also here tonight, we got 3 extra sets of tires in pit road, 40% fuel load. That's going to be the interesting point of how that might influence tonight. And maybe if drivers think about pitting before the stage is even over, but drivers up front continue to race on as Kevin Z muscles his way to the lead, 2-second gap over Andrew Little that's trying to run him down. But Roland Collette, as well as seeing the likes of John Velocity, starting to make his way forward.
There's a battle for 8th and 9th position between these two, and making 3 with Hunter Carlson just kind of lurking there. They're quickly catching the 5 of Matt Hayden. Hayden got to the lead running that outside line, Sam, and I think the 5 machine really burnt his tires up. He's fallen off of that battle for 2nd through 6th, and now starting to fall into the clutches here of this battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th.
And this race is starting to get even more interesting because our leader of Kevin Zabladil is now starting to lap drivers. Most recent driver to go a lap down, Jesse Nowland. We also have Mark Thibodeau and Steve Potter all go 1 lap down. Brandon Bouchamp also 2 laps down as Collette issues for the 10 as he slams the wall.
Hard contact there with the outside wall. Thankfully for these drivers, they do have a fast repair to use tonight, but Collette gonna have to deal with that heavy right side damage there, Sam, until we get to the stage break at lap 70.
You can see in front running on board with Hunter Carlson that battling action for 7th and 8th, as well as drivers trying to get by lap traffic is starting to mount up as we are here at Bristol, the last great Coliseum, one of the fastest half a mile these drivers will ever go, as the field's starting to get a little bit more racy, as Roland Collette has to go to pit road for the 10. The damage just too strong. I even got extra damage with another hit off the exit of turn 2. And the 10 forced to pit road with required damage. That's an unfortunate run here for the driver that was hoping to maybe be a little bit of a threat for a chance to fight for a championship run, but for a regular season championship run, and it looks like with that wreck and incident, not going to be the case. As here's Hunter Carlson picking and choosing, trying to get by Matt Hayden, and the lap car in the 64 of Potter, and Potter stays high, and Carlson goes forward. Great move by the 32 we've seen at short tracks, runs very well.
Yeah, really good move there to get around the lap traffic and the 5 machine of Hayden and move himself up one more spot up to 8th. Now we're going to try to chase down the 32 of Carlson in front of him. Got another lap car though that he's got to deal with. Mark Thibodeau there in the 27, and a nice easy move here for the 32 Sam to the inside to get by that lap car.
Able to get by the lap car. Thibodeau again struggling. Allen's been struggling, but with seeing Roland Collette out with heavy damage, he has decided to call it a night. That is a bonus point that is now going to be gifted to Gregory Barbanir, driver that is needing up major points here tonight. Again, he is 9 points back from Steve Potter, who currently runs 13th. And so that's just a few points. Gonna need a major amount more for the 40, and he just drove by Matt Hayden. So the 40 is in a great fight for himself, as he's also trying to get by more traffic.
Yeah, just slowly working his way up there. Another car with contact to the outside wall. I believe that was a 27 machine. I saw a Barty part flying, but for Gregory, slowly working his way through the field, Salmon might be able to pick off maybe one more car before this stage is over to give him a couple more points.
As the stage is going to be at the end of lap 70, it is go time for the 40, as Gregory Barbanir going to be about 0.8 seconds back from Hunter Carlson. But again, Carlson's been on the move, but Barbanir's lap times have been about 0.2 faster. He might have a chance as we move up front to drivers that are battling for just that 5th place position. It's James Catrone, Rusty Modesty, and again, last week's winner of John Velocity in the 84, trying to get by who will be that 5th place position driver as the stage is starting to conclude. These laps are ticking away quickly, and I gotta say, this field has done a great job. No cautions so far here tonight, as they've kept it clean and green. That's allowed this race to already so quickly down to just 65 laps in. 5 more laps to go before this stage is over. With Rusty Modesty having issues, that's another position for Barbanir.
Yeah, Gregory just catching a break after break as Rusty with an issue brings that 6 machine down pit road. So move the 40 machine up to 8th position, as well as the guys that he's battling for these points. Sam, they're also getting free positions. I think Jesse Nolan should get at least 1 stage point, as he should pass Rusty here and get up into that 10th position.
And going to be making the pass now is Nowland, as Rusty Modesty has to drive around the whole track. It is a 1-lane pit stall that they're running here tonight, so they got to go around the whole track before they go into pit road. That is a long travel on the apron that you have to go around this course before you can get service done. And Rusty Modesty already going to be 2 laps down before he even gets into pit road.
That's just a tough break for Rusty. Was battling for a top 5 spot. Now going to be multiple laps down with the issues that he had here, Sam. And that's going to be a long road to recovery for that 6 machine, especially if they keep up this pace that they're going with the lack of cautions.
As drivers continue to click lap after lap, it's been one driver, though, up front. He grabbed the pole award, which is 1 extra bonus point, has been leading the most laps so far. The 17 of Kevin Zabladil gives a little bit of contact to the 5 of Hayden. They once were battling for the lead position. Now for the 5, he's battling to stay on the lead lap. Not the case. He'll be driven by the 28 of Nowland. Going to be going 2 laps down. We're going to have almost half the field 2 laps down before the stage is over, and the stage is now completed.
I mean, what a drive there for Kevin Zabladil, Sam, to put Matt Hayden. I mean, that Matt was the 9th place car. We have 8 cars on the lead lap. It was a blistering pace from the 17 machine. And with that, Matt Hayden going to be the only car 1 lap down. Jesse Nolling going to be 2 laps down in 10th. But what a run there for the 17 in this opening 70 laps.
And looking at Rusty Modesty, it was just a inter-pit road, just topping off on fuel. And that decision puts him 3 laps down by the time this stage comes out. The 6, this has got to be such a heartbreaking decision to enter pit road because he did not have required damage. And it is a shock to see Rusty Modesty practically out of this race with his decision to go to pit road under green flag conditions.
Yeah, fuel only. I mean, he can technically take the wave around, but you're going to be about a second and a half off the pace based on just tire wear. So I don't know how well it's going to work out for him. And even if he takes the wave around, Sam, still going to be 2 laps down. So a tough strategy call there for the 6 of Rusty Modesty.
An extremely tough decision, but it's going to allow drivers to make the decision to now make their pit stops, as pit road's going to get busy for some drivers. For others, confusion, as looks like some drivers may have run out of fuel, as the 32 is getting pushed down into his pit stall. Again, the drivers are racing with 40% fuel load, means that they were right on the edge of making it to the end of this stage for some. If you did not save enough fuel, it looks like for the 32, he needs some assistance to get into his box.
Getting some help there. Hunter Carlson getting some help there from Kevin to get into his pit box. And looks like the 32 will make it. Now, hopefully he doesn't overshoot his pit box, Sam, because then he's going to have to tow and reset himself, and that could be costly there for the 32. But everybody cleanly into their pit boxes for 4 fresh tires and some fuel.
And just like that, these drivers get the reset, and so do we. We kind of get that time to calm down. Again, sorry for the technical issues that made us miss the first 35 laps of tonight's race, but we are here to be giving you the Challenger Racing League's last race of the regular season to see the drivers that will be racing for a championship. With the stage being over and done, it's made the points a little bit closer between that of Gary Barbier, also to the likes of Jesse Nallen. And with Gary Barbier staying out, the 40 machine is going to be able to find himself leading a lap, and that's another bonus point for himself before this race was over.
Hey, not a bad call there. Get the stage points, get a point for leading the lap, and now I just got to bring that 40 machine down pit road, Sam, to get some tires and fuel, and we'll see where he cycles out. But don't hate that call there from the 40 machine of Gregory.
Absolutely not. But again, with some of the drivers, the decisions when they came into pit road, some looking for a passer, getting a pass around, wave around, excuse me, is the word I was looking for. It's got to put most of the field in an awkward spot if you're 9th on back, because if you're 1 lap down, you're kind of now just banking on another caution to come out because we have no more stages that will be thrown. You are kind of stuck to the likings, and you get to see even in pit road some drivers that went a lap down, they're in trouble because they had to get some assistance to get in their pit stalls, as Stratter had to help the 5 of Hayden get into his boxes. Hayden now 2 laps down for 9th on back. This is one of the more bizarre races I think I've seen, Trevor, of seeing the field and the huge difference of pace that we see from the top half to the back half.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild to see. You're going to have, I believe, 7 cars on the lead lap, and I think Gregory still has to make a pit stop at some point here tonight, but he's staying out, and we're back green, Sam.
Back green, and drivers are taking off in go mode, as some drivers were able to go into pit road sooner than others with the tire in the yellow and how spread out everyone was. The 40 actually was graced to go into pit road a lap sooner, as the rest of the field trying to make their way around to catch up to one driver that dominated at the start, grabbed the pole, and wants to continue his way forward. It's the 17 of Kevin Zabladil, but on the outside, it's Justin Malarkey with Zabladil slipping, sliding. The 73 now to the point.
A great move there to get up to the point for Malarkey, and we'll see how long that's going to last. We kind of saw this once we joined in, that the 17 kind of fell back a couple of tenths there and then came back up charging late into the run to get back to the lead spot. We'll see if that's the same case here, Sam, as the 17 tries to track down the 73 of Malarkey.
As Zabladil just continues to ride and follow. We know he'll pounce at some point. But again, looking at drivers that are in some weird point scenarios, big one is going to be Gary Barbanir, currently 6th position. Drivers he's racing around, Jesse Nowlin runs in 10th place and is 2 laps down, while Gregory Barbanir is the last driver on the lead lap in 6th because Christian Stratter had to go into pit road to serve a black flag penalty. We only have 6 drivers on the lead lap and we're not even halfway.
What a wild Bristol race this is turning into, Sam. It's not for cautions. It's more or less for pit strategy issues for these drivers that they've made. And here we are with 6 cars left on the lead lap.
We're just scratching our head, confusion at moments, but drivers have now turned their races into just survival mode for some. Just keep a decent pace, you'll stay on the lead lap and you'll get a good finish for yourself. As if you get caught up in a wreck, you'll give a chance for Hunter Carlson to get his lap back, and the rest of the drivers that are 2 laps down, they're going to need up to 10 cautions. But with the amount of drivers that are left in this race, 10 cautions is very, very unlikely, even with the fact that we stayed green all the way to that stage caution when it was thrown. We right on board currently with John Velocity as he's seeing some lap cars and lead lap drivers racing hard around one another as this 84 currently runs in 5th place, and just seeing all the different lanes being utilized. And this is the fun thing about current Bristol and iRacing is drivers can utilize all these different grooves. This is the 27 of Thibodeau. Hold steady for now, but there's the run from Velocity, but nowhere to go with it.
And nowhere to go as he ran it right up on the back of the 27 machine of Thibodeau, and now we're going to try to look to the outside. But yeah, so the fun part about Bristol, it's what makes it so fun to drive as a driver. You have 3 lanes, you can run the bottom, the middle, and the top, and it can really set you up over the course of the run to make these passes. As we see Velocity now go to the bottom and try to get by the 27 machine, just can't quite get this done. And this is a battle with the lap cars, Sam, that he's trying to get by. He's actually trying to catch up to the 38 of James Catrone in 4th, but just kind of stuck right here for the time being.
And almost mirrored to what's happening up front with our leaders on the fact that Kevin Z has not been able to really get a good enough run to dive down and make a pass on Justin Malarkey. He's been able to get side by side off the exit of the corner. Malarkey, holds steady with the lead position, and it just feels like it's a 1 lap. Malarkey's able to be straight up leading this race, and then just a continuous setup for each corner is Kevin Z trying to figure out how to make a dive bomb move work and to fully clear the 73 off the exit of these corners.
It's trying to set him up, and watching these 2 drives, Sam, it's two different lines. You see the 73 Malarkey run in the middle, Kevin run in the bottom, and then it's going to come down to who's wearing their tires out less as this run progresses to who's going to have the pace. And right now, if I had to go off of what we saw in the first run, I think Kevin's going to, here in the next 10 or so laps, Sam, have those fresher tires. But right now, Malarkey doing a great job hanging on to this lead position.
Doing a fabulous job at this time as the 73 trying to go for his first win in this series. And we'll see if tonight's finally the chance, because Malarkey has had top 3, top 5 runs all throughout this season so far. But again, all eyes on this 40 machine because Barbanir was looking great at slamming the walls. Now going to be Steve Potter, and Potter's got to be careful for the 64. Potter cannot afford to get too much damage. They do still have fast repair in pit road, but if you go another lap or so down, you're solidifying a 13th place position. And Barbanir, he might just need a couple of more spots because of the massive stage bonus points that were grabbed by the 40.
Yeah, I mean, the way it was looking, came in 9 points out of it. I believe he got 3 stage points, Sam, plus the bonus point for leading lap, so 4 points. I might be a little bit wrong there on my math, but only needs a couple more to catch Potter. And if Potter's not careful, I mean, he could lose potentially 3 spots on track if he gets some damage and has to make an unscheduled pit stop.
Yeah, currently I'm trying to figure out the exact math at the time of the stage. I believe Barbanir was 6th when the stage caution came out, so that's 5 bonus points being grabbed. But again, with all the drivers that fell back, it was Jesse Nowland who got just 1 bonus point. So technically, it was, again, 4 bonus points for the stage. Leading the lap was 1 bonus point under under caution that we were pacing. So that is 5 bonus points. So it's just a 4-point difference going on, meaning for the likes of the 40 machine, they have to be 5 positions ahead to solidify by points that you will make it to the playoffs over the 28, or you tie and hope that you've got the tiebreaker.
That's going to be a fun battle to watch. Right now, currently is, I believe, 5 spots ahead of Jesse in the 28 machine as he currently runs in 11th. But we'll see how that plays out, Sam, throughout the course of this race. As we jump back, and this is the 40 getting by the 28 machine of Nolan, but Nolan 2 laps down and just kind of riding right now as we're past halfway.
Yeah, and looking at other point scenarios against Steve Potter's, also that other driver, Potter, looking at where they finished, I believe they were outside of getting stage points. So for Steve Potter, that means there was 0 stage points grabbed there, but is running 10th. But with where the 40 finished, that would be a 4-point difference between themselves, as well as looking at Jesse Nowland. These drivers are all within 4 to 3 points of one another. It's going to be a crazy 95 laps to the end of this, and we know one mistake could throw this all away for the 40 machine.
Yeah, it just takes a little snap. The car gets a little loose. You get up into the outside wall, get some right front damage, bend the toe link. Kind of like what we saw with the Tenna Colette there, Sam, that took him out of this race earlier on. All it takes is a little bit of a mistake to potentially take you out of the shot at making it to the playoffs next week in Kansas.
As these drivers continue to race on, Steve Potter trying to stay ahead, but again is 2 laps down compared to the lead lap driver of Barbineer, who runs in 6th position. But Barbineer's got to be careful because Hunter Carlson is catching this 40 machine. It is a 5.5-second difference, and for Hunter Carlson, they start at the end of the line. They ran out of fuel and needed a push to try to catch up, and has been putting down flyer lap after flyer lap. It is very close to catching up to the 40 machine, as well as Barbineer is close to going a lap down, which would be horrendous for the 40. They need to stay on the lead lap, but Justin Malarkey, Kevin Zabladil, they're catching them quick.
Yeah, they're catching them quick. Carlson currently 1 lap down, trying to get up there and fight for maybe getting his lap back, but Gregory just trying to do everything he can, but he can't look too far behind him, Sam. They're on almost the same straightaway. The race leaders is on the same straightaway as that 40 machine as we go up to the front battle, which these two have been going at it since they took the green flag after the stage break.
Fight for everything and hope that you've got enough underneath you, as Justin Malarkey has just been staying high, and that middle to outside groove has been keeping the 73 and keeping them up front and holding the 17 at bay. But you got a feeling at some point it's going to crest over to Zabladil having the better tires, or at least a better run, if we were taking account of how that end of the stage was running, because the 17 was on a completely different level than everyone else. They're late, but they had fresh air in front. Malarkey's the driver with the fresh air and has really done a great job of, if there's a chance for the 17 to go for a pass, he utilizes the outside lane and that more momentum you can carry for the straightaways. But here's going to be the toughest task. We've got lap cars right in front of our leaders. It's time to see how that's going to influence this run, or will lap traffic just get out of the way? Because it's going to be a tough call if you're going to make that decision or not, especially because the lap cars are running for position. It's Nowland, it's Thibodeau, side by side for 10th place.
Yeah, this could make it interesting. The 17 is Zabladil, though, got a great run out of turn number 2. Got to the inside of the 73 Malarkey, but here we go. Top 2 have caught the lap traffic trying to get out of the way. The 27 goes high, leaders go low, so far so good, but that might open the door for Zabladil to get to the inside. He's looking, Sam. It might be side by side with Malarkey, but a little bit of looseness there on the exit of turn number 2. Sees the 17 fall back just a little bit.
And if you're Jesse Nowland, you understand you cannot afford to lose another lap. That would be putting you in the same case as Thibodeau, Rusty Modesty, as well as Bouchamp. But the 28 is blocking, defending, and holding back. It's going to be Malarkey. Malarkey nowhere to go, but Little now going to be in the fray. Our top 3 trying to get by, and drivers trying their best to make the playoffs. But with that move, it just solidifies another lap down for the 28, and a heartbreak moment. It's got to be striking now.
Yeah, it's a kind of a helpless feeling there for the 28 to go 2 laps down, and just nothing you can do pace-wise to keep up with these guys. As the top 3 are setting just a blistering pace here, Sam, as we're already 20 we're down to 80 laps to go. I mean, these laps are ticking by at about 15.5 seconds a lap, but a really good battle here as the top 3 all on top of one another. As The 17 is Abladil, not able to pull away as much as he was earlier on. And here comes the 73 and the 68 trying to make this a three-way battle for the lead.
Let's get a bump from both lanes currently there as Little gave a bump on the inside, but Zabladil finally able to get clear of Malarkey. Malarkey utilizing the wall with a little bit of assistance, gets straightened out sooner and gets the run to stay side by side. Gonna be close to that outside wall again, trying to straighten out sooner than later, and it's Malarkey not giving up this lead position.
Trying everything he can, using that outside line, using the run to his advantage to keep the 17 pinned down to the inside. And Malarkey not making this easy for Kevin in the 17 machine. And when we saw Malarkey get picked by the lap car, give up second, almost gave up third, but here he is battling back for the lead as they continue to stay side by side on the exit of turn number 2.
And we know that this bickering back and forth enabled Andrew Little to get into this fight. James Catrone is just a half second behind. We're going to have a 4-race battle as Malarkey slams the outside wall off of 4, but continues to fight on. But these drivers, every contact to that outside wall, such a risk of required damage, and as well, giving you handling issues for the rest of this race. Unless we get a caution, we're going to utilize that faster pair, but Zabladil holds the lead. Little puts the pressure, though, as the 17th runs high.
Kevin going up to block the run from the 68. The 68 going to take it to the inside, though. Little going to look for the lead now as those two side by side on the exit of turn number 4. Now the drag race down the front straightaway, and Kevin with that momentum able to hold on for now, but it looks like Andrew Little might have the tire advantage here, Sam, as he continues to hound the 17 to the inside, but looks like they're going to get it sorted out here on the entry to turn number 3, but passed for third behind them as Catrone gets by the 73 machine.
And I was curious if Malarkey was going to fight for that third place position or just let Catrone drive on by and then hope for the battling up front to bring the 73 back into the mix. I think if we just let in a 38 go, smart move. You let a fast driver try to run down and fight with your top 2 drivers currently, and it will give you a chance later on, as well as we are 54 laps into this run. We were seeing drivers running out of fuel as we were coming to the end of the stage on lap 70. Again, if this race stays green, we still have a pit stop to go, and we are just about to be entering that pit stop window if drivers decide to pit early.
That's going to be the interesting thing here. You can go, like you said, 70 laps on fuel. You're at that window just about now. The question is going to be, when do you pit? Do you go for that undercut, or do you stay out as long as you can to have the fresher tires at the end? This is going to be the fun thing to watch as the leaders are catching some lap traffic here, Sam. That's going to allow Catrone to get into this picture. You see them go by. I believe that's the Potter in the 20, or Potter there in the 64 machine, but they get by him pretty clean.
Potter going to go 3 laps down. And looking at those battles between the drivers just at that cutoff line of being on the lead lap, Barbanir, because of this battling for the lead that we see on screen, has been able to stay consistently 10 seconds off our leader, so still on the lead lap. So if a caution flag comes out, it would be Barbanir staying on the lead lap for now, and Hunter Carlson would get the lucky dog as long as they're not involved with the wreck. But it's going to be the 17 of Kevin Z, gets ahead, drops low, trying to get by Thibodeau, who's going to be going another lap down, make that 4 laps down for the 27, as we are closing in on these laps. That to be under 65 laps to go for this race. Wild to see how quick this race is going away, but just having one caution shows that this race is going to be a fast one to end.
Yeah, it's going to go by quick, and for these drivers, it's going to be a workout. There's a lot of effort to get around Bristol quickly and cleanly, and with not having a caution to kind of take a breather or a rest, I'm pretty sure when we talk to these guys at the end of this race, Sam, they're going to be short of breath and sweating pretty hard, especially how hard these top 3 now are going to be battling with one another as Catrone enters the picture. Top 3 all under a blanket here as we go through 1 and 2.
And if they continue to fight, looking at other fast drivers, it is looking to be the fastest drivers on track. He's far back. But I was looking at times, it was Gregory Barbanir. He was quick late in the race, and Barbanir is going for the risky call. Early pit stop for Justin Malarkey and Barbanir. Barbanir is throwing his chance to make it into the championship by pitting this early. This is the risky call that can make your way into the playoffs or knock you out.
Not a bad call from the 40 to come down pit road. The 68 of Andrew Little down pit road. Catrone just got the lead. But here come the pit stops, Sam. They're underway, and this is where we've seen it before. You cannot afford to make a mistake, especially at a track like Bristol. and that pit road, single pit lane.
No way. No way. Gregory Barbernier is in pit road and still holding. It looks to be a potential 40-second hold for speeding on pit road for the 40. The gamble backfires horrendously.
I was just about to say, it's a tricky pit road to get onto. You gotta enter at turn 2. It's really tight to get down there, and it looks like for Gregory, might have been caught speeding there, Sam, and this could really just ruin his chances at making it to that playoffs at Kansas.
And the updated unofficial points, as I was re-looking at it, it was looking to be just a 3-point advantage for Steve Potter over Barbernier, just a 2-point advantage for Nolan over Barbernier. Now, both of those drivers are ahead of the 40 machine, and it is just a 2-point difference between Potter and Nolan. These two drivers are going to have to turn it into who can be the furthest one ahead, and currently, it's Potter who's having the better run here tonight. Oh no! Catrone gets tapped. We keep it straight in green. Hard contact. What a move to hold on, though. As what a contact blow as the 15 of Bouchamp gets into our leader.
That was a heck of a save there, and that's the difference between old and fresh tires there, Sam. And for Catrone, it kind of shades of Darlington. We saw that happen to him. Had a fast car, got into an incident with a lapped vehicle, and again here at Bristol, the same kind of thing happens as we get a little replay of it, as Bouchamp just kind of loses it, gets tight in the middle of the corner.
No, I think he was reacting to Malarkey, who's on the fresher tires. Watch as if the 15 just holds his line, he would have been fine, but he pushes up, worried about the 73, and just wipes out our leader for a second there, and that is a ton of time lost for Catrone, who now hits pit road.
We'll see how much that's going to hurt the 38 machine as he makes his pit stop. The 32 also on pit road, and we'll see. This should hand the lead back over to Malarkey, but he's going to be battling with Andrew Little in the 68. So right here on screen, Sam, this is going to be a battle for the lead once these pit stops cycle through.
And Malarkey's on 3 lap older tires than Little, and also a driver that's on the freshest of tires of this front group. It's going to be Kevin Zabladil, just 2, but no, man, I'll make it just a second behind these drivers. The 17 is flying in that red 17.
See how quickly he catches up to them, or does he go a little bit easier here, Sam, and let these two get to battle and kind of save his stuff? He's on the fresher tires. You don't want to burn him up trying to run these guys down, so we'll have to wait and see. But the 17, you can see getting closer and closer on screen as these laps progress.
And James Catrone leaving pit road. Here's your update. You can see as pit cycle has just concluded, all drivers can make it from here to the end of this race. And surprise, surprise, even with the pit stop mistakes, there were bigger mistakes out there as driving mistakes for Jesse Nowlin. Steve Potter's been losing a lot of time. They are still a full lap behind Gregory Barbernier. Barbenier's getting caught with speeding, is still ahead of those drivers and has a chance for the playoffs.
Incredible, Sam. Running 7th currently, 2 laps down. I mean, he's going to need some help, either with some guys in front of him having trouble or some guys behind him having some trouble. But Barbenier's still within a shot here of making the playoffs.
And you saw there for a quick moment, the 17 is Zabladil using every little bit of grip underneath this 17 machine, but you got to be careful. You have the advantage. Those type of big slides off the exit of the corner throws away all the advantage that you would have had with fresher rubber and kind of puts you in an equal zone. Still, the difference between Justin Malarkey to Zabladil is about a second between them, but drivers that are on top of one another might bring out a caution. These around our 7th place position driver. It is Barbernier, pressured by Nowlin, Catrone, and Catrone's got the freshest rubber. He's trying to find an opening. There just isn't one as they have to go around the outside of the 40 machine.
Yeah, Catrone's got to be on the attack. He stayed out the longest. He lost the greatest amount of time. He's 10 seconds behind our race leaders. So he's in attack mode and gets by Barbernier, who's just trying to stay out of the way, stay out of trouble. But kind of in that pack, Sam, that if we do get a caution, this is kind of going to be around that position where it might happen.
And if you're a Barbernier, you cannot lose this spot to Matt Hayden. But you do know that Matt Hayden's been a driver that's kind of overcooked his tires at moments. So if you're the 40, you understand, I have to run where I'm at. Hope that Potter and Nowlin get in trouble behind. And for now landing. He's been looking out of control at moments. Steve Potter has been getting into the wall at times. Barbanier just needs to hit his mark, stay ahead of the 5, and just hope that his other competition have mistakes, because with 40 laps to go, it is still on. That is just so quick how this race is clocking down. Based off the estimate, we got about 10 minutes left in this race if we stay green, and that is 10 minutes of just utter chaos and focus that you have to have.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. You're going to go 40 laps in 10 minutes. I mean, that is just crazy to think of, and we still have a great battle up front for the lead between the 73 and the 68. Zabladil just kind of lurking in the wings, about a second behind these two, just kind of waiting to see what happens. Velocity's 6 seconds behind these guys, Catrone 10 seconds behind, but we saw how quickly you can catch one another if you get to battling, so this is going to be fun to watch, Sam, and see how this plays out over these last 40 laps.
And it's a factor, you know, I didn't really think we needed to bring it up. I don't think we've seen it. I believe Barbanier has gotten to the wall or has gotten in contact with other drivers, but there are other ways to get bonus points. Getting the pole, you get 1 bonus point. You lead a lap, that's 1 bonus point. Lead the most laps, 1 bonus point. But the big factor, if you have the fastest lap of the race, that's 1 bonus point for yourself. And if you find yourself getting 0 incident points, that's not hitting the wall, not hitting other drivers, you can also get 1 bonus point. There are still 2 bonus points wide open to grab, as long as the 40 doesn't get any contact with anyone. And if you can somehow sneak out an extra 2 to 3 tenths and find a way to get that fastest lap of the race.
That'd be one heck of a way to make your way into the playoffs. You run a perfect race at Bristol, no incident points, and the fastest lap to sneak your way in. That'd be a story to tell your friends, but gave up a spot to Matt Hayden, Sam, so the 40 back to 8th position. But up front, here's the battle for the lead. Andrew Little looking to the inside of the 73 of Justin Malarkey.
Looking very close to the scenario that we were talking about, I feel like 30, 40 laps ago, where we were seeing Malarkey trying to hold back the likes of Zabladil. Now is on the outside trying to hold back Andrew Little. Little trying their attempt to get the big run off the exit of the corner. Going to be right on the back bumper. Dives down into turn number 1. Little just not close enough. And Malarkey using the banking, utilizing the momentum, and keeps that nose ahead going into turn number 4. But Little's grip able to carry just a little bit more speed with that extra grip level. Keeps it equal, but it continues to drag in Zabladil. These top 3 are not going to be done anytime soon. But again, that passed that up. Just a little bit of update of the driver trying to make it into the playoffs of Barbanier. Matt Hayden getting back. That gives Steve Potter the position to now have 1 point over the 40 machine, as long as Barbanier doesn't get that 0 incident point bonus point, and doesn't find that extra speed for the fastest lap.
It's a spot we'll have to continue to watch, but up front, Malarkey, Sam, I think he's burning those tires up on the 73 machine, kind of what we saw toward the end of that last run. He's fading back. Zabladil up to 2nd. We'll see if he's got anything for the 68 of Andrew Little, as they've now switched positions, and Zabladil about a half a second behind the 68 machine.
And the big thing that we're seeing here, the back and forth that's going on, the drivers that are there at the end are those that protect their tires, stay low for most of the run. I think that's what hurt Justin Malarkey. Is every time he was leading up front, he felt like he had to put down the fastest lap every single go around. Burnt the tires, and now expected to be on a free fall. Got to be careful to make sure Malarkey tries to stay inside of our top 5. Now, he's going to be a driver that makes it to the playoffs, as he was 9th in points coming into tonight. He had a 36-point advantage, and with the stage bonus points that were grabbed, the 73 was totally fine to be making it to the playoffs. But I gotta say, for the front runners, though, lap cars just are not. They're trying to play nice, but it's Bristol. Everyone's in the way, even when you try to get out of the way.
Yeah, there's really no safe place to hide as a lap car around Bristol. You can go high, you can go low, but sometimes you're in the preferred lane of the driver that's trying to lap you, and it just kind of creates a little bit of chaos. But Andrew Little doing a great job there, getting by the 2 lap cars. Kevin as well getting by, and Kevin actually losing a little bit of time here, Sam, to the 68 machine, trying to work his way through that traffic. Little opening up the gap to almost about a second.
As the broadcast continues to go on, 25 laps to go before this race is over, and Andrew Little I mean, what a performance for himself. Again, I feel like every Andrew Little race that he is up front, he does the same thing where he just slowly, methodically builds a run to be in the lead position late in the race. It's now down to, will there be a late caution that changes up the factor of tonight's run? With 25 laps to go, though, it's Little, Zabladil, Malarkey, Velocity, and Catrone, your top 5, and the only 5 drivers on the lead lap. It's Hunter Carlson, Matt Hayden, the next drivers in line. 1 lap down for Carlson, 2 laps down for Hayden, and the rest of the field 3 or more laps down as this race continues on.
I mean, Sam, I don't think I've ever seen a Bristol race that's only had 5 cars on the lead lap and that's run green the entire race apart from the stage break. I think this is a first for me, and it's been an incredible race to watch.
It certainly has, and to have front runners call it a night early. I mean, Roland Collette qualified 4th, Christian Stratter qualified 2nd. They both called it a night before the stage was even over, and that is shocking to see both the 29 and the 10 call it a night early, which is kind of looking at the way their race would have been if they continued to race on. Could have been positions and points for the 40 of Barbanier that maybe would have been solidifying him into the playoffs, but instead he's crossing his fingers on mistakes to happen for the 64 and 28.
That would have been maybe 2 spots that he could have put between himself and Potter and Nolan, but instead you're gonna have to try to make those up on track or hope that those 2 come into issues. But same 20 laps to go. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna happen for Gregory as these laps continue to just wind down.
Wind down and try to stay out of trouble is the 64. Looking at Potter, looking at Nowlin. Nowlin has fallen now to 12th position, and now down that far, that is giving an opening for Steve Potter to stay in 11th place. Nowlin falling that quickly, it might be Jesse Nowlin missing out on the playoffs, and Steve Potter and Gregory Barbanier being the last 2 to make it in the playoffs and fight with Kevin Zabladil, Justin Malarkey, Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Hunter Carlson, Stratter, James Catrone, Roland, Velocity, and Andrew Little. I mean, that is a stout group when you look at those that have been up front competing for a championship. And it is the 12 drivers that point their way into the championship that have the honor to race in the playoffs, where will be a 7-race playoff stint that we enter into. And I don't think any of these drivers are fully prepared for the chaos they're about to be entering.
No, I think once you get into the playoffs, I mean, these guys have been aggressive, you know, all season long through the regular season. But once you get into the playoffs, that aggression level goes up. Every race matters. Every point matters in that condensed playoff format that these guys are going to be running. So, you know, who knows what may or may not happen there, Sam. So if you sneak your way into the playoffs, you might find yourself with a shot to run for a championship at Phoenix if these things continue to be kind of hectic, up in the air races.
As the field continues to put the pressure on, Andrew Little getting a little bit more spacing to work with here tonight, as it is Little up to a 2-second gap lead, as Zabladil is struggling as he's being pressured by Barbanier, as well as having the likes of the 84 raining down second place wide open, as Zabladil's tires are completely shot and gone. He is fading quickly as Zabladil.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to see the 17 struggling. There's a little bit of contact between the 84 Velocity and the 40 of Barbanier there, but you know, Kevin, one of those drivers saying that didn't really struggle on tires, but this run just looks like he might have burned them up a little bit too quickly. But back behind him, here's James Catrone on the freshest of tires. He's caught up to the 73 of Malarkey, and this is the battle for 4th and 5th.
Battling back and forth, who's in the better position, as Malarkey and Catrone, as they try to sneak their way by Mark Thibodeau in the 27, who stays low. That outside the wall is looking like Darlington with the amount of times it's been brushed, and it is tough. But the way these tires have just fallen away for some drivers, they are trying their best to keep and hold for every position, as Rusty Modesty, who's been struggling as he's 4 laps down. He had that early pit stop on the stage, didn't feel like he was going to make it to the stage on fuel, and went 3 laps down immediately. Kind of shocking on that point, but the field knows with 7, about to be 6 laps to go, this race is ending quickly.
Yeah, this race is going to be over in the next 5 minutes or so, and right now for Andrew Little, you're just hoping that something doesn't happen behind you that causes a caution. He looks to be on cruise control out there, same with a 2.5-second lead over Velocity, who's gotten by Kevin Zabladil and now Catrone. This is the closest battle on track right now for fourth and fifth, and a little bit of contact. Sam could see a car go around and a potential caution as we continue to watch the 68 machine just kind of cruise around in his own little world.
And if a caution flag were to come out, there's a lot of drivers kind of solidified in their position of where they're at on track, but having a one attempt at overtime could really switch things up. Andrew Little confident though as he continues to put lap after lap down, the gap down to 2 seconds as John Velocity has been trying to catch up to the 68, but it might be a little bit too little too late as Andrew Little making it 2 laps to go as he's about to cross the line, and just a few more corners left for Little to be grabbing himself a chance to have the most momentum, winning the regular season championship and have the most momentum into the playoffs.
That's got to feel good to win the regular season championship, win the race to get it, that leads into the playoffs, set you up for a lot of momentum. Once we get into that race next week at Kansas, white flag is out. Sam, here we go. One more time around for the 68 machine.
White flag is out for the 68 of Andrew Little. Came in tonight fighting for the regular season championship. It was a short one, only 7 races was this championship. And on the 7th one, ties with the most winning driver so far this season with this 2nd win. As they get prepared for the playoffs, Little has all the momentum.
What a run there from Andrew Little to get the win tonight. Velocity drives his way up to 2nd place. Catrone gets by the 17 of Kevin Zabladil at the end there. Sam to get 3rd place, and Kevin falls to 4th with Malarkey rounding out the top 5, and only 5 cars left on the lead lap.
And the 5 cars on the lead lap, they put on a show all night long, showing mental fortitude moments to stay where they're at, but the rest of the field got to give their own kudos. Bristol's a hard track, going a lap down, multiple laps down. I got to give praise for everyone that decided to stick it out all the way to the end. One driver that's happy it's over and can finally cheer it on. It's the 68 of Andrew Little. Congratulations to Little, as well to John Velocity and James Catrone, your top 3. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3 in the post-race show right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A quick race, only 1 caution, and it was for the stage break, where we got to see Andrew Little prove that he's one of the favorites to watch out for when the playoffs begin. As the 68 machine finds himself in a victory lane, let's head down there and talk to Andrew Little. Sorry, Andrew, for pulling you away from that conversation. But congratulations, your 2nd win of the season, and what a time, having the most momentum heading into the playoffs. How are you feeling, though, after your performance here at Bristol?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. We had a really nice race that we had a couple of scary moments and incidents. I tried to do the bump and run on Zav a couple times. He hit, and really the difference maker was just the slight incident that he had coming to pit lane where that was it. If it hadn't been for that, I don't know if I could have beat him. But overall, it was a really good race and a lot of clean driving. The fact that we went pretty much green for all of Bristol is pretty impressive.
You know, Andrew, it was an impressive race all the way around, especially going green for essentially 200 laps around Bristol. But how do you feel that this win sets you up momentum wise going into the playoffs with the first round being at Kansas? How you feeling about the momentum and your chances here going into that?
You know, Kansas is going to be a real weird track because it's a tire eater, and I usually save tires pretty well, and that's kind of I think what happened here tonight is I was able to save tire and save fuel to kind of get to the halfway point there in stage two and make it on tire and fuel in stage one. Some guys ran out, but I do not have like I'm not fast at Kansas, so like it's not going to be one of my tracks where I'm kind of excited. It's going to have to be long run and hopefully like a pit stop works out for me. That's what it's going to have to be.
Well, I mean, tonight you proved that when the long run was there, you were the driver to watch out for. Andrew, with the long run, we had the green flag pit stops. A few drivers got caught up with issues of speeding, having mistakes on pit entry. What was it like for yourself, though, trying to get into pit road with such a tough track here at Bristol?
Oh, I came in like really, really soft, like 10 ply soft, as they'd say in Letterkenny. And that's how like Zab, even after he missed, he came back around, and at one point in time, he's within a second of me. So that's like pretty impressive, like how good he was coming to pit lane. But I was just like, nope, I got to make it in. I got to get tires, and I got to come out and try to come out in clean air as best I can. And I was just really lucky that it worked out in my favor, and so I just had to run with was it with Malarkey there for a few laps, and thankfully I was able to save a little bit tire and eventually got past him. And once I got into clean air, things worked out a little bit better. So, but overall, it was came in soft and ran pretty hard the first few laps out to try to make up that gap, and that's I think what made the difference.
Well, you guys did a great job here tonight, keeping it clean, green, only caution being at the stage break, and it was impressive from us up at the booth to watch. Andrew, again, congratulations on this win, and before we let you go, floor's now yours for any more shout-outs.
Well, I'd like to say hi to my family, my wife Lauren and my son John. They're upstairs. Hi, family. Hi, mom. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook every now and then, and just check out the guys in the league here are running really good. J Dub's our a race control guy who's doing a pretty good job, and then is putting this together, just to kind of get out and have fun and play around with these fuel loads and tires and stuff. So just really fun having a good time here in the Challenger League.
Well, Andrew, again, congratulations on this win. You are now tied as the most winningest driver this season, too, with Hunter Carlson. Enjoy this one, and good luck heading into the playoffs for the first round.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
You too, as that is Andrew Little, your winner here tonight for the last race of the regular season. He's got the momentum moving forward as we now go down to second place for a driver who just has as much momentum, you could say. We got John Velocity with us. John, it's Sam and Trevor up in the booth. Congratulations on second place here tonight. I know we didn't get to call it last week, but also congratulations on your win at Watkins Glen. How are you feeling, though, with your performance here this evening?
I'm feeling pretty good. The last 2 weeks, momentum starting to swing in my favor. Getting the win last week, like you said, that was big for me. And then coming out here tonight, not all that great here normally, consistently, but to come out here and have a good showing like this, get a nice P2, headed into the playoffs, we will take that. Momentum is on our side.
I mean, John, what are your thoughts about tonight's race? I mean, a really quick race, went green the whole way apart from the stage. I mean, what was it like out there on track, just throughout the whole race with the car handling and then getting on and off pit road under green flag conditions?
I thought it was a lot of fun. You had to manage your tires the best you could with there not being any cautions other than the stage break. That played a big part into it, keeping the tires as good as you can to still be able to gain momentum. The pit stops were going to be crazy. I knew that going in, but I handled it pretty good. Everything went smooth. Was able to get back out there. Didn't speed. I've done that a few times this year, and trying to maintain that right front tire was quite a challenge.
It certainly looked like a challenge for a lot of other drivers out there. John, if you look at the stats, you are the only driver to come out of this regular season to finish in the top 10 for every race. How do you feel like your consistency is going to help you heading into the playoffs as we head to Kansas, Talladega, and then the Roval to finish out this first round?
Yeah, I've been super fortunate with my finishing positions. I've been trying to stay out of trouble early and manage my tires the best I can, and consistency pays off, I try not to put my car and myself in bad positions, and I don't try to go for the extra position or two early on. Just try to keep it consistent and be there at the end, and it's worked out pretty good so far.
It
As far
certainly
as
has.
as far as the upcoming races, super speedways are not my best usually, but road courses I like. So going to the Roval here in a few weeks, I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, we're excited to call that race when we get to the Roval. John, congratulations on second place on tonight's race and in the regular season points for making the playoffs. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any more shout outs.
I want to thank you guys for throwing out these broadcasts. I go back and watch them every night after the race, and you guys do a great job. It's great to be able to have this broadcasted so people can watch. I hope the fans are enjoying, and I look forward to finishing out this playoff strong and going for that title.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you're going to perform in these playoffs, John. Congratulations once again, and good luck next week at Kansas for the start of the playoffs.
Thanks, guys.
As we move from second place, we go down to third to talk to James Catrone, who honestly, under that green flag conditions, had the most wildest moments, was almost the reason for a first and only caution, the first and only on-track incident. Keeps it straight, though. We got Catrone with us. James, it's Sam and Trevor up in the booth. How are you feeling coming away third after right before you head into pit road, you find yourself sideways and you somehow keep it straight?
I feel like a fool for not spinning out right there. Because the caution comes out in that scenario, even if it was me, I'd be in the catbird seat. I'd have the whole field 2 laps down and extra set of tires. And man, if I should have just not saved it, honestly.
I mean, Catrone, it was a great run for you, getting back up there to third. Kind of similar incident to what we saw with you at Darlington, getting caught up in a
Oh yeah.
some similar incident as that. But I mean, a great recovery run for yourself. How are you feeling about the playoffs coming around next week to Kansas? With Kansas coming up, Talladega and the Roval.
Oh, pretty good, really. We've been having some great races, and despite what happened here, like the most fun I've had at Bristol for a while, to be honest. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Even though I got mixed up in a couple things here, it's nothing too crazy. So it was a pretty clean race overall. So I'm pretty excited going in.
I mean, James, looking at the points, the way that they should come out is you being in third overall after the regular season's conclusion. How have you felt personally for this season? And do you feel like you've outperformed yourself, or do you feel like you're hitting the right marks to go for this championship in this first season?
Um, I I feel like I've done about what I expect. I know it's probably going to be a different thing next year. As people come in, I don't know. I don't really give myself a lot of expectations. I just come out and run the best I can, and don't really worry about points and hope it all falls together in the end.
Well, that mentality has helped you again at third in points, third in tonight's race, and a solid, consistent run so far. James, before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any more shout outs.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for broadcasting us. It really makes us look a lot better. I think Rusty, Kevin, Andrew, and Matt, and a special thanks to James Wright for doing our race control. He does a great job with race control. Uh, Thanks to everybody that makes this happen. We're having a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show to call. That will be your third place runner here this evening and one of 12. They'll race for a championship starting next week. James, congratulations on this run and good luck heading into the playoffs.
Thank you.
As we move from our top 3 interviews, gotta say tonight's race certainly a wild one overall. They had about 13 drivers truly racing for a chance to run for the playoffs, and only 12 could move on. And based off the unofficial points that I've got collected, we'll wait for an official call next week, but I believe Jesse Nowland came in 12th driver in points, and he might miss out with his 12th place finish here this evening. As we take a look at our unofficial results, some tough races for some, fantastic recoveries for others. Gotta give a huge shout to Andrew Little, another win, his second this season. Second place goes to John Velasquez after his win last week. Great momentum for the 84. James Catrone third with Kevin Z fourth. Justin Malarkey fifth, the only drivers to stay on the lead lap. Just one lap down was Hunter Carlson, who went a lap down at our stage. I think he could have been a driver to watch out for if he was able to stay on the lead lap. But then we had Matt Hayden, Gregory Barbonier, Rusty Modesty, and Steve Potter, our top 10 drivers.
Yeah, it was a great race tonight, same as you go through the rest of it. Brandon Beauchamp there in 11th, Jesse Nolan in 12th, Mark Thibodeau in 13th, Christian Stratter, Roland Collette, and round out the 15 drivers here tonight. Those two not finishing the race, going out early on. But what a wild race. Only the caution at lap 70 for the stage, and we went green the rest of the way. Not something you typically see at Bristol. And Sam, I got to say, I'm excited to see what these drivers are going to put on for us when we get to these playoffs next Tuesday at Kansas.
Kansas going to be the first race of the playoffs. 12 drivers have a chance to hoist the inaugural championship of the Challenger Racing League. And we can't wait for it. But if you can't wait for any other great racing action, as the playoffs start next week on Tuesday for the Challenger Racing League, a playoffs and a championship will be crowned tomorrow night. WSSR's Cup Series Season 9 champion. Who will take the crown at Las Vegas? You don't want to miss it. We've got Zach Hall entering as your championship leader into Vegas by just a mere couple of points that can really get shaken up just by qualifying. Also on Thursday, we are off this Thursday. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and then the ISRC Truck Series Go Road Course Racing next week. Don't want to miss any of that action. And Trevor, certainly a wild night, but any final thoughts before we call it an evening here? A very short and quick night that these drivers gave us.
Yeah, a really short race tonight. One that I didn't think I'd ever see at Bristol, Sam. A caution-free race from start to finish. And I gotta say, these drivers put on a heck of a race tonight, especially the battling up front for the lead all night long. Was fantastic, and definitely excited to get to this first round of the playoffs to see what they're going to do for us at a pretty good variety of racetracks. You have a mile and a half of super speedway and a road course, so I think we're going to be in for a great show in these next 3 weeks.
I think we are. It's been a pleasure to give you the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As for tonight, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the show, I know we had issues early on, but if you did enjoy as we went through the broadcast, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Both are free to do here on YouTube, and we'd like to say thank you to those that were patient with us overall. And for myself, as well for Trevor Earhart and for Robert Moyer Jr. and everyone from Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us on your Tuesday night. Again, we got more racing action, the start of the playoffs next week at Kansas. You don't want to miss it, as the 12 drivers that entered tonight were not the 12 that are going to be exiting, as Jesse Nowland looks to be bounced out. Gregory Barbonier will be slotted in the 12th in points. It's going to be a fun one. Do not want to miss Kansas next week. But if you cannot wait until then, tomorrow night's the night to watch. You do not want to miss it. Who will be crowned the Season 9 champion? Will it be a first time? Will it be a veteran? Could it be a rookie? Or will we see the first time 4-time champion, or will we see a 3-time champion? A lot of different scenarios, and it all ends at Las Vegas tomorrow night. We'll see you then, as it is going to be a pleasure to see you for the WSSR finale. But it will all be here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for our next broadcast tomorrow night.